Welcome back here for the 2025 Twin Cities Film Fest, presented by Stearns Bank. We're at the Dynaman Theaters. I'm Blythe Whealy, joining you from the red carpet, alongside a couple wonderful filmmakers. I'm going to start by introducing Eliana Reyes, and you brought your film here today, and this is such a personal story for you.
Yes.
Can you explain how difficult it was here opening up this story to the world?
Yeah. You know, it says it on the poster, this is 30 years in the making. Our father being in prison in 1997 really shifted the trajectory of our lives. And so when I moved here from Puerto Rico to Minnesota, I fell into storytelling, all types of storytelling, whether it was dancing, writing, performing, singing, spoken word. And when I moved to LA, I became a showrunner, upcoming filmmaker. And I just knew that the day that he came out, I needed to document that because it is the biggest story of my life, so and of my brother's lives, and so why wouldn't we tell that story and also give him a chance to tell his story? And so yes, it's challenging to put all your trauma out there and to talk about the things that kind of made you who you are, but I think it's also really healing, and I think that it's really important for us, especially people with rich cultural backgrounds and different experiences, for us to talk about the things that shape us. And so as difficult as it's been, I would say it's been more beautiful than scary for me. But I'm also drama, so I love crying and all that stuff,
We appreciate your honesty and your vulnerability because, like you said, it does help us and it shapes other people to be able to hear from your story. Yeah. Thank you. And I also want to welcome in Chris McDuffie. You were the DP and editor of this film. Chris, can you talk about what going through this process of maybe having to weed out some of these scenes, but really bringing those memorable pieces, how challenging and how rewarding was it to find those gold nuggets?
They were all in there. I think it was more a process of chipping away at things that did need to be in there rather than finding things that did. I think all the moments that were really impactful, really emotional, they're all very evident, as you'll see in the movie. I was just kind of trimming the fat.
Yeah, you think about how long this process is and just how much footage, so probably even more so the hard part is just finding how to make it smaller because you need it. But Chris, something else I want to ask you about is just how you also got connected to this film in the first place.
Yeah, Eliana's old friend. We both went to the U of M, and she had told me a couple years before we started this process, kind of her backstory about the family. And she was like, if ever there's an opportunity to come on board to shoot this, would you? And I immediately said yes. And I got the call, 3 weeks before we were in Dominican Republic saying, hey, I need you to get on a flight because this is happening. Like, Poppy got out, we're doing this. So, yeah.
Well, that is such a neat story of how that came together, so I'm glad I asked it. Thank you, Chris. But Eliana, I also want to ask you, because this is your family, and your family was a big part of it. I know Maximo also was one of the people credited in this film. When you think about what your family went through, you also had the original music created together. I saw your name on there. What was that like? Because sometimes music is a healing process. So did that also help heal while making this film by creating some of the music in this?
Yeah, Max and I both reside now in LA. We both work in the entertainment industry. And I think one of the things that we noticed is that you spend so much time trying to do things the industry way. And then it really stifles your own creativity. And since I was young, I've always kind of done things my own way, whether it was a dance, a piece of art, whatever. And with this, Max and I was like, you know what, we're going to tell our story on our terms, how it makes sense to us. And for us as storytellers, music is at the core of everything, And we have such a rich background of music, anywhere from hip hop to R&B to salsa, merengue, dembow, all of the things that make us who we are. So we wanted a little bit of all of that in the film. And because Max works in licensing, he was like, hey, we don't want to have to deal with not being able to use music in the film. Let's just make our own music. And I think all of us siblings were like, bet. And we each went and wrote our own song. And then Max guided us and produced the songs. He found the producers. He put the whole thing together. And I think for me, I love the film because I know that it's like a through and through family project. All the way from the music, I consider Chris family. The second DP, she's a close friend. The second editor, he's a close friend, Derek. They're all from Minnesota as well. So this is a through and through, like, work with your people kind of project, and we're really proud of that.
Such a talented family. That is really neat too. But Chris, I also want to think about what it was like having to go through this process on some of these really vulnerable moments that, of course, you said you're friends, but also this is vulnerable times to be a part of and really be sticking a camera in there. What was the game plan? How were you able to maneuver this and be able to showcase such emotion on the screen?
Yeah, I think it's important that I am just there to document, and everything else needs to disappear. So my presence, the cameras, all that needs to kind of blend into the background, and you just allow the moment to happen in front of you.
And you did such a great job, like I said. But the last thing really quickly I just want to talk about is, of course, just the emotion, because, of course, your father was released. What emotions come up knowing that you were able to document this process on just such an exciting time?
Yeah, I think the best way I can put it is just, I'm just proud. Like, it's not easy to do this, and I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of us. We did this with literally, like, it was bootstrap producing, directing. It's everything we've learned in our independent career. It's everything that me and Max have learned in our lives. It's a combination. I feel like every single part of our journey has led to this moment to create this project for all of us. And I'm just really proud of it, and I'm proud of us for doing it, because whatever happens tomorrow, this is our legacy, and it's done, and it's out there, and nobody can take that from us. Yeah.
Well, Eliana and Chris, thank you so much. Thank you for obviously your vulnerability here today and through your film to create such masterpiece. But on behalf of the Twin Cities Film Fest and Eliana and Chris, I'm Blythe Whealy, saying so long till our next red carpet here at the Edina Mann Theater.